Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing details. Today we are discussing a 2020 model year launch from Audemars Piguet that was a boutique exclusive, 44 millimeters in diameter in sapphire, ceramic, and titanium. This is the Royal Oak Offshore Chronograph, 44 millimeters in diameter. It's 14.5 millimeters thick, lug-to-lug, just the case. 55.6 millimeters. If we measure the end lengths, the little plots, the intermediates, the total rigid distance across the wrist is actually 59.1 millimeters, so bring a big wrist. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference, and you can see this eats me alive. Somehow it is sitting there comfortably, mostly because it's so light, but I believe you need a wrist of 17 centimeters circumference to wear this watch well. You can see down the barrel, the lugs are right out to the edge. Although surprisingly, if you take a look at the cuff shot, it is very sheer, but it's not terribly thick at under 15 millimeters, so it will actually fit underneath a jacket cuff. Taking a look at the strap, it has an embossed pattern on it to make it look like textile, but make no mistake, it is rubber, and it's a vulcanized rubber that thins out as it moves away from the case. It features strakes that visually extend the plots, and then you can see in profile it's fixed to the case using screws and bars, which is a very sure and secure system that I prefer to spring bars, especially on a watch that's very expensive like this one. Now, taking a look at the case, you can see that although the crown guards and the pusher shoulders are made of titanium, the case itself is scratch-resistant black ceramic, and then the bezel is Audemars Piguet's blue ceramic. We have a blue ceramic cap on each titanium chronograph pusher, and then a blue ceramic shoulder for the crown. Taking a quick look at the profile, you can see that these titanium parts are fixed by hex screws, so if they get gouged or dented too badly, they can be removed and replaced during service. The ceramic caps to the pushers look great. First of all, you can see they're satinated on their side and polished on their outer face. They help to prevent scratches from this quarter. It is a screw-down crown. The watch is 100 meters water resistant. The finishing of the ceramic is exactly what you would get on a metal Royal Oak or offshore, so you know that Royal Oaks and offshores are celebrated for their fine finish. You don't lose any of that here. In fact, it takes more time and effort to render these different geometries and finish profiles on ceramic than it does even on troublesome metals like tantalum and platinum. You can see we have satin. The character line of the bezel continues through the mid case, continues through the case back. We have a little polished bevels that extend across the lug hoods. Lug hoods are satinated. We have a bezel that is polished on its side, but if you look, it has a very narrow satin band outboard. Then it has a large sloped polished face, and then a vertical satination on its top. All of the hex bolts are bolts, and they are stainless steel. They're bolts because they can be aligned all the way around. You'd be amazed how many people think that miraculous alignment can allow a screw to seat this way inside the bezel. It's simply not the case, guys. There is a nut inside for each one of these bolts within the case. Now, the watch also features the rounded octagonal bezel, first envisioned by Gerald Genta in 1972. On the original Royal Oak, he was inspired by a vintage diving helmet. The Royal Oak Offshore was born almost exactly 20 years later as the then 22-year-old Emmanuel Guet designed a 1990s update to the original Royal Oak on the occasion of its 20th birthday. Genta hated it, but the public loved it, and thus the Royal Oak Offshore series was born. Now, this one has a dial that's described as a fumé or smoked fade, so it's blue at the center, and then it's almost navy blue, nearly black at the edge. We have a scale outboard that is black, that is a flange acting as a tachymeter scale, so in conjunction with the chronograph seconds hand, you can gauge the speed of a car or an airplane over a kilometer. We have the Mega Tapisserie, or the large hobnail, the largest hobnail design on this dial. And then we have sub-registers, each with their own independent textures and polished chapter rings. A constant second sits up at 12. That's why that one is minimized in black. We have chronograph minutes and then chronograph hours right here. White gold hands, white gold numerals, white gold AP logo on this dial, and all of those in white gold, so they won't tarnish, fade, or oxidize over time. We do have a hacking or stop seconds function, and you can use that to set the watch to a reference time. We also have a quick set system for the date. This is a modular chronograph with a Dubois de Praz vertical clutch chronograph module and an AP 3126 base. They call this module the Dubois de Praz and 3126 combination, the 3840 Dubois de Praz on a 3126 base. It is well loomed. We'll take a quick look at that so you can see that we have both hands and numerals, and actually for that matter we also have the indices at the 3, 6, and 9 positions well loomed, so it's an easy watch to see in the dark. Because it is modular, we have a magnifier so you can easily see the date, because the base movement has the date, and then there's a chronograph module on top of it, so you're actually looking through a tunnel down to the base movement underneath the chronograph module. That's why that's always been the case with the Royal Oak Offshore. Flipping it over, you can see that 3126 base. It is designed for sports watches, which is why it's relatively thick and robust. It has a rotor bearing rather than a jeweled staff for the winding system. And again, with shock resistance in mind, it has a dual-anchored batwing-shaped full balance bridge and a free-sprung Gyromax-style balance. It's a movement with 59 joules and 365 parts that beats away at 3 hertz or 6 beats per second. And it has a bidirectional winding system on ceramic bearings for high efficiency and a 50 to 55-hour power reserve when fully energized. It's got a judicious blend of hand finishing and machine finishing, and a blackened gold rotor, which is super cool and triple finish. There's a lot to love here, and it's very much price appropriate. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore Chronograph in ceramic.